What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So I want to go down and break down the Dallas Cowboys roster. I want to give it grades and, talk about, we'll get into stats in a later video, but the health of the Cowboys roster, especially now after the George Pickens trade, which he's been in the league, looks like 3 years. Now I think coming in the league 2022. He had over 1,000-yard year. Last year was a little lackluster, but he's only 24. So, just turned 24. So, we're going to go offense first, then we'll go defense. Offense, Will Grier, 30 years old. This is 6'1", 220. Been in the league 6 years out of West Virginia. We all know, he was projected number one. Not number one, but first round pick. Some people had him years ago. Joe Milton III, who was drafted last year, is already 25. Now he stands at 6'5", 246. Tennessee. Now he backed up Hendon Hooker, who is currently on Detroit's roster as the backup. And then you have, of course, the venerable Dak Prescott, who was drafted out of Mississippi State back in 2016. So he's been in the league 9 years, 238, 6'2", 31 years old. You remember his 2016 campaign, the preseason, beat Jared Goff and the Rams, the LA Rams. Sean McVay was not their head coach at the time. It was the former Titans head coach, Jeff Fisher. Dak Prescott had a 13-3 rookie year. Played very well. Had Dez Bryant and Jason Witten, some others still in their prime stars. Witten maybe not so much, but he did very well. He's played well. He's been up and down. He's won 2 playoff games, which is on par with Tony Romo. Now, he started his career at 23 years old, whereas Romo didn't start until he was 26. Under Bill Parcells, took over for Bledsoe. Romo famously went down in the Seahawks preseason game on a scramble on the left side. Can't remember if it was Bobby Wagner or who made the hit, and I think he broke his shoulder or messed up his back. And he was out for most of the season, and when Dak started, he never gave the job back. So, as far as Dak Prescott, the grade for me would be an A. Hasn't been an A+. He's had some shortcomings. You can blame it on roster. You can blame it on him. You can blame it on I blame a lot of it on Jerry Jones. Will Grier, you haven't seen a ton of him. The stuff you've seen has been mixed at best. Joe Milton has had 1 good game. Not enough to be advantageous of anything above a C at this point. All these people loved him and all when he was available with the Patriots. But now that the Cowboys have gotten him, he's ass, and he's a bad dude. So who knows? Potential of Grier or Milton taking over and beating out Prescott, 0% chance. Potential of them taking over for an injured Dak Prescott, 60-40 maybe, 60% chance. So overall, I'd give the quarterback room a B average. The 2 backups drag him down because they're not as good as Cooper Rush. And if you have to depend on him any significant amount of time, you're in trouble. Running back room, you got Jaden Blue out of Texas, 21-year-old. Listed on here as 6', 200. But most people have him at 5'9", 196. So which is he? I don't know for sure. You got Hunter Liebke, who's a running back / tight end. He's 25, 6'1", 238. Been in the league 2 years out of North Dakota State. they don't know how to use him. I think he's more of a fullback. Phil Maffa, 22-year-old, 6'1", 230. He's a rookie out of Clemson. Dabo Sweeney. Miles Sanders, who infamously was drafted by Carolina and Philadelphia drafted him, and then Carolina had him. So he comes over from Carolina, 28 years old, 5'11", 210, 6 years experience out of Penn State, of course. He's been good, but he's getting a little older. Deuce Vaughn, who was a late round pick 3 years ago, 23 years old. And he's listed at 5'6", 176 pounds, out of Kansas State. Love that pick, but haven't seen much of him. Javonte Williams, who's played well in Denver, 25 years old, 5'10", 210 pounds, 220, 4 years out of North Carolina. Running back room, I'm going to give a B- right now because there's too much unknown, but there's A+ potential. Wide receivers, Jalen Brooks, 24-year-old, 6'2", 205, 2 years out of South Carolina. Had ups and downs, more downs than ups. Paris Campbell, who showed some flashes with Philly last year and their Super Bowl run, 27 years old, 6 foot, 208, 7 years in the league at Ohio State. Remember, the Colts were the original drafters of him. Ryan Flournoy, who the Cowboys drafted last year, 25 already, 6'1", 200. He's a rookie. Southeast Missouri State. So he showed the most flash last year and the most potential. Kelvin Harmon, a few years ago, was drafted. 28 years old, 6'2", 215. NC State. I feel like he's been in the league longer than that, but maybe I'm wrong. Trayshawn Holden, the undrafted rookie, 6'3", 205, out of Oregon. Josh Kelly, undrafted, 6'1", 195, out of Texas Tech. CeeDee Lamb, the venerable number 1 receiver, 26, 6'2", 200, 5 years out of course, Oklahoma, drafted in 2018. Jonathan Mingo, drafted by the Panthers, 24 years old, 6'2", 220, out of Ole Miss. Jalen Moreno Cropper, Cropper, 24, 6 foot, 172, a couple years ago out of Fresno State. Of course, now you have George Pickens, 24 years old, 6'3", 200, 3 years coming out of Georgia. Of course, if you remember, he's with the Georgia Bulldogs. Very talented receiver. Jalen Tolbert, former first-round draft pick a couple years ago, 26, 6'1", 195. Been in the league 3 years out of South Alabama. Has yet to really flash the lights and show me something here. Kevontae Turpin, you know what he is. Seth Williams, a guy right now out of Auburn. Maybe he becomes something, maybe he doesn't. Rivaldo Fairweather, 6'4", 252, rookie, undrafted out of Auburn. Patterson Fant hasn't been healthy. Jake Ferguson had a down year last year. 26 years old, 6'5", 244, out of course, Wisconsin. Tyler Neville, undrafted rookie, 6'4", 248, out of Virginia. Luke Schoonmaker, the lovely second-round draft pick we got a couple years ago, out of Michigan. Brevin Span Ford, who I kind of liked, but he's already 25. Big dude. John Stevens Jr. always hurt. So tight end room, I'll give them a B- as well because Ferguson had a down year. Schoonmaker's developing, but not as fast as you like. And the other guys you don't know. Princeton Fant was thought to be the next big can't miss, but hasn't shown it yet. Offensive line. Brock Hoffman's serviceable. TJ Bass is above average, I feel like. Cooper Beebe's above average. Tyler Booker, potential, above average. Shadiq Charles came out of retirement, so good luck with that one. Robert Jones, serviceable. Tyler Smith is excellent. Hakeem Dingy is a guy. Johnny Cornelius will probably be a guard, but he could be something. Tyler Guyton is above average. In its second year, I think it'll be better. Asim Richards, another guy. I haven't seen nothing. Dakota Shepley is a veteran. Terrence Steele is above average. Nathan Thomas is another guy. And Matt Waletzko is another guy because we haven't seen enough from them at this point. So offensive line, I would give a C right now. But I think there's potential for A+. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, hit notifications once we hit 100 doing a free giveaway, guys. Love y'all. Peace out.